Brenda Blitman is here. Commissioner Birch.
Present.
Commissioner Hilding.
Here.
Present. And Commissioner Wickstrom is not. And Commissioner Brown is not. Commissioner Exton.
Here.
And Commissioner Roush is not here. But we do have a quorum. So we'll go ahead and proceed. We've got 2 items on the agenda. The first item is new business 2021-01439-S-PR Creekside Estates subdivision. And Mr. Lindstrom will let you provide us an introduction.
Madam Chair, Commissioners, before you we have application 2021-01439-SPR. This is a subdivision and private road for Creekside Estates subdivision. The applicant is J&J Property Development. So this is a preliminary plat for a 6-lot subdivision with the private road. The property is located at 4520 North Linder Road, Section 36, Township 5 North, Range 1 West, and it consists of approximately 34.31 acres in the RUT Rural Urban Transition Zone. This is the preliminary plat here that was submitted. So all 6 lots will be buildable residential lots. They will have to be a minimum of 5 acres to meet the rural urban transition lot size minimum. They are all 5 acres here in the plat. Lots will be serviced by individual septic systems and individual wells. 4 of the lots, actually here I can see if you can see on my pointer, 4 of the lots, lot 3, 4, 5, and 6 are all south of that Farmers Union Canal there. 4 of those lots will be serviced by the proposed private road you see there. And then the 2 lots to the north, lots 1 and 2, will have their own driveway there that's shared off of Homer Road. The parcel you see here, it's kind of in the southwest part of this plat. This is all one parcel here that was actually divided off in December of 2020 via one-time division. That parcel has a historic house on site, and we wanted to make sure that that was not part of this subdivision. So they went through the one-time division to split that off from the property, and now they're submitting the preliminary plat for the rest of the parcel. Let's see here. Each lot will also be serviced by the Eagle Fire District. So this subdivision complies with Chapter 8-6 of the Ada County Code, since the proposed lots comply with the dimensional standards for the RUT zoning district. The property is within Eagle's future land use map, as you see here. And the land use map of the Eagle Comprehensive Plan, as adopted by Ada County, designates the property as residential rural. And this is primarily intended for single-family residential development on properties of 5 acres or more in size, which may be transitioned from ag to residential use. It also may combine small-scale ag uses with residential uses. So as all of the proposed lots will be over 5 acres in size, they will be conducive to residential and ag purposes, and the subdivision is compatible with the land use map. Here is the zoning map that shows the site here. It's in the RUT zone, just to the north across Homer Road. Those properties are RR rural residential zoning. Those are just outside of the impact area for the city of Eagle. So with this application, we had no agency opposition. Actually, last night there was a hearing on this application with ACHD. The applicant was looking to move forward with the application without having to do some specific road improvements. So because of that, he had to go before ACHD, and they did approve his application. I have a late exhibit there for you with their staff report. So maybe the applicant can address some of those requirements in further detail of what they were looking to move forward with, but that had to do with the width of the road, as well as they didn't want to provide gutter sidewalks, those kind of improvements. There was no neighbor opposition to this application, and staff is recommending approval. You are recommending this application to the board. That would be the next step in the process. And I will stand for any questions you may have.
Thank you very much. What questions do we have for Mr. Lindstrom? Mr. Hilding, Commissioner Hilding, do you have any questions?
Oh, I'll stop.
No questions.
Okay.
And then, Madam Chair, Commissioners, Commissioner Wickstrom is online.
Oh, good. We'll let the record reflect that Commissioner Wickstrom is online. Did you have any questions, Commissioner Wickstrom?
No, I did not.
Thank you. I think we're ready to call the applicant to go ahead and provide us their information.
Hi, hold on a second, sorry. Trying to get, I'm on my phone. My name's Ben Semple with Rodney Evans and Partners. My address is 1450 West Bannock Street, Boise, Idaho 83702. Can everyone hear me okay?
We can hear you. Thank you.
Okay, great. First, I want to thank staff for their presentation of the project. Yeah, as was stated, this is for a 6-lot subdivision within Ada County in the Eagle area of impact. We are in agreement with all of the conditions of approval in the staff report. And then to touch on the ACHD commission hearing, we had requested a waiver of the road frontage improvements along Homer and Linder roads. There's multiple irrigation delivery ditches as well as existing rural road section drainage. And ACHD staff actually determined that the installation of any improvements along there would be not only financially pretty majorly impactful to the development of this size, as well as cause some issues with drainage, and they were looking to have a more comprehensive development of the roads out here as the areas surrounding here continue to redevelop. So we were on the consent agenda at that ACHD commission hearing. There was no opposition, and we were approved unanimously for that waiver. And ultimately, we feel like we are meeting the code with all of the layout, and are looking forward to bringing this subdivision to the county. And I would stand for questions.
Thank you very much. What questions do the commissioners have? Commissioner Wickstrom?
None at this time. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Commissioner Hilding? Do you have a question, Commissioner Hilding?
No questions. Can you hear me?
Thank you. We didn't the first time, but we did the second time, so thank you.
Yeah.
I have a couple questions. My questions are, did you have you obviously had a community meeting, and I saw lots of people came, and I wondered if you could share what their thoughts were in that community meeting. And then I wondered what the response is to having sprinkler systems, and is that something that has been done before, or is that typical? Because this is the first one I've seen for sprinkler systems for residential houses.
Yeah, so the responses that we got from the neighborhood, they were really just concerned about the number of higher density developments that are currently being proposed and going in within the city of Eagle in this general area also. And so they were happy to see that this was a large estate lot subdivision that approximates, some of the acreages that are around here. They really didn't have too many questions other than wanting to make sure that this wasn't a path to redevelopment to higher density in the future. There was some interest from one of the families to the east in actually purchasing, as well as to the south, in actually purchasing a lot or two in this development. I'm sorry, can you repeat your other question? I apologize.
The second question was more just informational for me. I've never seen the request for sprinkler systems in residential houses, and I wondered if you could just explain a little bit more about that to me.
Definitely, yeah. So the requirement, the fire flows in this area are a little challenging, as well as response times, just because of the location. And the fire department had requested that because of the large lot nature of these homes, the size of the homes are going to be pretty substantial as well. that they wanted to see a fire suppression system installed. The developer is open to that. Ultimately, these are, large estate homes, and they felt that that requirement, that they could absorb that into their pro forma and be able to work with the fire department on that. I think it's ultimately just to help protect not only this development, but surrounding areas in the event of a rangeland fire or some fire event at a home, in case there was some delay in response times, or people being able to get out of the area.
Well,
That's my understanding.
yeah, thank you very much for helping educate me. I appreciate it. Any questions?
Absolutely.
From the commissioners? No? Is there anybody here that would like to comment on this application, online or in the room?
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is Rod. This development fits in well with that area. There's just another development just south of it. You could probably see it on the plat map. But with the state homes, they have a couple of ponds there. I think they may actually be smaller lots. It's hard to tell that maybe they're 3 acres. So it's consistent with what's happening in that area. Those other homes, I think, have been there for a little while, but it kind of joins right into that, melts into that other existing development. So
So,
I think this is a good fit for that area.
well, thank you very
And
much. If you'll pause for just a second, we're going to make sure that there's nobody in the room that wants to talk about this, or online, that's not the commissioners. So do we have any other people that want to talk? Okay, head shake. Any more questions that we have for Commissioner Lindstrom?
Commissioner, huh?
I mean, sorry, Commissioner. Sorry, I gave
I
you a big
wish.
promotion, yeah. You can have my job someday. So, Mr. Lindstrom. Any questions?
Yeah, I have a question, Madam Chair.
Commissioner
Can you hear
Hilden?
me? Yeah, that follow-up to yours. I think I'm recalling that the response time for the fire department is 4 to 5 minutes. And just wondering if you could enlighten us about that. That seems like a fairly long time to have to wait. Is that within the parameters generally for fire department response times, or is that a somewhat longer time to get there?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Hilding, 4 to 5 minutes. I have definitely seen that in other proposed subdivisions in the Eagle area. It shows that the closest station is number 3, located on Cactus Creek Avenue. I'm not totally sure where that is, but I think what it comes down to is this, because this property is in the wildland urban fire interface area, or the WUFI as we call it, they had to do a wildland, what do they call it, a wildfire safety plan. And because there have been fires in this area in the past, I think that's why Eagle Fire wanted to ensure that there was additional support here from the sprinklers in case that 4 to 5 minutes is just not quick enough. But yeah, 4 to 5 minutes, I'd say that's pretty common in this area. Hopefully that addresses your
Thank you.
questions. Yeah.
Thank you.
So we're going to give the applicant one last chance if they want to provide any comments before we close the public hearing. Does the applicant have any comments?
Madam Chair and members of the commission, I'm good. I don't have anything to add. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing that there's no more comments, we're going to go ahead and close the public hearing, and I'll look for a motion from the commissioners. Commissioner Exton looks ready.
I am. I would like to move that we, I would like to move that we recommend approval of project number 2021014339-S-PR, subject to the conditions of approval attached as Exhibit A in the preliminary plat submitted on June 23rd.
Thank you very much. Is there a second for that motion?
I'll second that.
Commissioner Birch seconded the motion. Commissioner Wickstrom, you provided some nice comments. Do you have anything else that you'd like to add if I cut you off when you were making them?
No, I'd finished. Sorry, I jumped the gun in there.
Okay, that's fine. It's hard to do everything when you aren't in the room, so. Any other comments from the other commissioners? So it looks like we're ready for a vote. All those in favor of the motion at hand, please say aye.
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 And I say aye.
I,
And are there any opposed? Please say aye. And let the minutes reflect that we had 5 commissioners, and 5 commissioners voted for this motion. So thank you very much. We appreciate it. And thank you for taking time to be with us today. Our second item is 202-101-622-CU MSP. And we'll let Mr. Danielson, I almost said that wrong, Mr. Danielson bring that one on for us. Thank you.
Madam Chair and Commissioners, project number 2021-01622 CU-MSP is a conditional use and master site plan application for a contractor's yard and shop for a tree service business in the RUT district. The property is located at 8184 South Stewart Road in Section 9 of Township 2 North, Range 1 East, and consists of approximately 11.5 acres. The contractor's shop will consist of 2,000 square feet along with an attached 528 square foot attached accessory office. The contractor's yard and shop will operate Monday through Saturday. The hours of operation will generally be from 7 a.m. through 6 p.m. Monday through Friday, and from 7:30 a.m. through 5 p.m. on some Saturdays. The property is in Meridian's impact area. The future land use map designates the property as low-density residential, which is primarily intended for single-family homes at densities of 3 dwelling units or less per acre. However, the site is zoned rural-urban transition. The contractor's yard, through the conditional use permit process, is only allowed for a 5-year period. In addition, there are landscape buffers along the perimeter of the contractor's yard, and the proposed conditional use is compatible with this area. As conditioned, the contractor's yard and shop will be in compliance with a county zoning ordinance. One of the specific use standards for a contractor's yard in the rural urban transition district is that any outdoor storage areas shall be located a minimum of 100 feet from any property line abutting other property. The outdoor storage area, as shown on the master site plan, encroaches within that 100 feet from a property line abutting another property. As conditioned, the applicant shall either submit a revised master site plan showing that the outdoor storage area does not encroach within 100 feet from a property line abutting other property, or the applicant shall apply for and receive approval of a variance from the Board of Ada County Commissioners to have the open storage areas of the contractor's yard encroach within 100 feet from a property line abutting other property and depicted on the master site plan. We did not receive any neighbor comments on this application. A number of agencies have provided comments on this application. The Central District Health Department will require the applicant to submit an accessory use application to them for the septic system. The Associate Ada County Engineer will require a drainage plan. The Ada County Building Official will require building permits for the shop and the office. The Boise Project Board of Control requires that local irrigation and drainage ditches that cross this property to remain unobstructed. The Ada County Highway District has provided site-specific conditions of approval for the applicant to comply with. And then key conditions of approval, the applicant and/or owner shall submit a revised parking plan that depicts a minimum of 20 regular parking spaces and 1 ADA accessible parking space. The applicant and owner shall submit a revised landscape plan depicting the correct landscape point total and showing that the shrubs are in 5-gallon containers. The applicant shall either submit a revised master site plan showing that the outdoor storage area does not encroach within 100 feet from a property line abutting other property, or the applicant shall apply for and receive approval of a variance from the Board of Ada County Commissioners to have the open storage areas of the contractor's yard encroach within 100 feet from a property line abutting other property. And then the applicant shall comply with ACHD's site-specific and standard conditions of approval. Staff finds that the application complies with the A County Code and the A County Comprehensive Plan and recommends approval to the commission. I'll stand for any questions.
Thank you very much. What questions do the commissioners have in the room? Commissioner Hilding? Well, we couldn't see you. So Commissioner Hilding, do you have any questions? No?
No questions.
And then Commissioner Wickstrom, do you have questions?
No, I do not.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll go ahead and ask the applicant to come forward and give us your name and address and provide us with information so that we can make a decision. So thank you.
Hey, it's Tina Butcher. My address is 411 East Fox Bay Street in Kuna, Idaho. And where exactly?
Just, do you have anything you'd like to add in addition to what the staff has presented? Is there any history on why you're doing this or
My company's been in business since 1995, and we've been running out on 8200 Stewart since 2006. It was my ex-husband and I's residence, and now we're divorced, and I purchased the land from him that's next to that property, and I wanted to make sure I was, legally allowed to be out there, so that we started this whole process to get the contractor's lot permit and make sure that we're legal for the company.
And that provides us with good context. So what questions do the commissioners have? Go ahead, Commissioner Birch.
Ms. Butcher, with this being a 5-year agreement to have that contractor's yard, it seems like a lot of money to put into it. You're wanting to put up a building that's going to be, what, about 2,600 square feet?
Yes.
And so I'm just curious. So what happens, are you prepared to have that building erected and then 5 years from now, if it's decided that this would not be extended, then you just basically what, use that building for some other purpose?
Yes, if we don't get approved for additional 5 years, that land will be converted into farmland. We already use the back half as pasture land for, I have Scottish Highland cows, so we use that portion for grazing. So eventually, if we do not get approved, I will just turn it over into the whole farm.
Okay.
My son and daughter-in-law own the land, excuse me, next to me. And so I want to keep the whole land in the family, whether or not I have a business there or not.
That was the only point I was making. I just want to make sure it was understood that there's no guarantee that it would be extended after the 5 years and that you're going to be putting up what looks like a nice building there.
Yes, it's been, this whole thing has been an education. But I mean, eventually, even if we do put it into a farmland, it still will be, used in a productive way.
Thank you, Ms. Butcher.
I'm wondering if Commissioner Hilding has a question?
No question.
And Commissioner Wickstrom.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Just a couple quick ones. So you're only going to, out of the 11 acres that you have there, you're only using a part of it, all that section that's north of the irrigation canal. Is that correct?
That's correct, and that's not actually an irrigation canal. That's it's the Wilson's pipeline. It's a gas pipeline, so I can't use anything past that. I can't go across. I can't put anything permanent across the pipeline. So we're only using the top portion for the business. The rest of it is pasture.
Okay, so the southern part of that parcel is just going to be left as it is right now.
Yes, the southern part will be left.
Okay. Are you going to be doing any wood processing out there? Any chipping, logging? Not, I know it looks like a lot of logs out there right now. I'm sure you deal with some big trees. Is there going to be any other processing going on out there?
No, we do a little bit of firewood, splitting, but the logs we sell to people that make furniture, make slabs, and so they come in and they leave. Right now I have an inventory, but I do have a buyer that is coming to hopefully get most of those off my property.
Great. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you, Madam Chair.
My only question is, did you, when you had your neighborhood meeting? Did people come, or did they have any comments, or?
I had probably 8 of the neighbors come, and the one thing that they were more concerned about is when I was married, my ex had a sawmill out there, and he had big piles of chips, and he'd have a tub grinder come in, and they were afraid that we were gonna use it as like McGurdio's, down off of Locust Grove. They have a big, where they make mulch and stuff like that. That was their biggest concern, and that's not what we're using it for. It will be strictly, we'll have a nursery for plants that we plant, for trees that we plant in our customers' yards. Nobody comes out. It's not a retail or wholesale nursery. It's just stock that we keep. And then any chips that are brought in are just for the nursery to heal in trees and stuff, but we will not be doing anything that in that scale. It's simply just keeping our trucks, keeping the business, and having a shop.
Are there any other questions from the commissioners? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
For your time. And we might come back and ask you some more questions, so it's kind of a process. Any questions that we have for Mr. Danielson? No? Online, any questions? So you could come back and talk more if you wanted to, or you could just decline.
No, I decline. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to go ahead and close, or I'm going to ask if there's anybody in the room or online who would like to speak about this application. I'm seeing head shaking, so we're assuming there's nobody else to talk, and we'll go ahead and close the public hearing. And I'll look for a motion from the commissioners. Commissioner Birch.
Based upon the findings of fact and conclusions of law contained in the staff report and the testimony from this public hearing, Commission recommends approval. Project number 202-101-622-CU-MSP, subject to the conditions of approval attached as Exhibit A and the master site plan stamped on June 11th, 2021.
Thank you very much for that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Exton seconded the motion.
I'll second.
And another second online, Commissioner Hilding. What comments does anybody have about this particular application? I don't hear any comments. So I think we'll just move ahead to the voting stage. It appears to be a fairly routine thing, and we appreciated the backstory from the applicant about why they were doing it. That made it all make a lot more sense. So all of those in favor, please say aye.
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 And all those opposed, please say aye. And I'm going to vote in favor, so let the motion reflect that all 5 commissioners that were present voted in favor of this motion. So it's passed. So thank you very much, and thank you very much for coming today. The next item on our agenda is item number 2021-01703 ZCDA MSP PBA. And it's got a staff recommendation to be tabled. And I'll open the floor for a motion from one of the commissioners.
I would like to make a motion to table 2021-01703 ZC-DA-MSP-PBA to the next meeting.
And could somebody look up the next meeting date so that we can?
Madam Chair, it'll be September 9th.
September 9th. Is it okay if we amend your motion to include
Yes,
that?
to September 9th.
So it's been moved. Is there a second?
I'll
Commissioner
second.
Second.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded by Commissioner Birch and Commissioner Wickstrom that we table item number 2021-01703 ZCDA MSP PBA until the next meeting, which is September 9th, 2021. All those in favor of this motion, please say aye.
Aye.
And I'll say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say aye. So let the minutes reflect that all 5 commissioners voted to table that item. So that concludes all of the items that we have before us. The next item is the minutes, and I did notice a small change to the minutes.
Yeah, Madam Chair, Commissioners, I did send out an updated email, minutes to everyone. I hope everyone got them.
I didn't see the updated minutes, but I had the input on them, so I'm comfortable that those changes were made. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Madam Chair, I would like to move to approve the minutes.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Exton moved to approve the minutes. Is there a second? We'll wait for the online people.
I'll second it.
Okay, Commissioner Wickstrom seconded the motion to approve the minutes. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Please say aye. And let the, I voted in favor of approving the minutes, so let the minutes reflect that all 5 commissioners voted in favor of approving the minutes for July 15th, 2021. And so now we'll go to the review of the BOCC meeting.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. At the BOCC meeting last night, we had 4 total items. The first was the zoning ordinance amendment heard by the commission regarding neighborhood meetings and public hearings, and that was tabled by the board with direction to work with our legal staff to figure out something other than the 2 options that we brought to them last night. So we'll have a better update for you in September as to what we land on in that regard. First item on new business was a variance for an accessory structure that was approved. This was in the Meridian area. Staff is recommending denial. The board overturned that recommendation and ultimately approved and will adopt revised findings at their next open business meeting. We had an appeal for conditional use and master site plan for a contractor's yard. This is the Vertex pest control business that you heard last month or the month before. I apologize for not recalling which hearing that was. Ultimately, the appeal was denied and your decision to uphold, or your decision to approve, was upheld by the board. And then the final item was a variance for a swimming pool in the rear setback. That item was tabled with direction to the applicant to go seek some input from neighbors regarding their support or otherwise for that project, and that will be heard in September as well, along with that zoning ordinance amendment. So stand for any questions if you have any.
What questions do people have?
I do have a question, Madam Chair.
Commissioner Hilding?
Yeah, if we could get a little bit more detail on item 1, I'd be interested in why commission wasn't persuaded by our brilliant solution that the commissioners came up with here. Any discussion about it? Any other thoughts that they might have had would be interesting to hear.
Yeah, other than, I think they noted your concern. I think they had concerns of their own. I don't think they quite liked the language. I think they had concerns about applicant discretion. In general, they seem supportive of virtual meetings, but I think they want a better way to go about achieving those. But, the item was tabled, so they can't really show their cards too much in terms of how they're going to vote at the next hearing. But in general, they were unsatisfied with the 2 options before them and want us to work with our legal team, who, interestingly enough, crafted the original language of the original ordinance proposed. So we'll all be working together, legal and development services staff, to hopefully come up with a happy medium or hybrid or something along those lines in that regard.
If I were
Thank you.
to offer a comment around that issue, I think that my personal situation where I live and a neighbor, I think that could have all been, which is the Vertex pest control, it could have all been avoided if there had actually been an in-person meeting. I mean, because these places that we're talking about today, they've had in-person meetings, the Creekside Estate, and there are people that had questions and concerns, but they came to the meeting and they got them answered. And so I think if we were to go to all virtual meetings, I think it would really create more conflict than it resolves long-term. So that's my personal opinion for what it is worth.
So as a note regarding next hearing, we are going to be using our backup hearing to review the draft zoning ordinance rewrite. So we will have standard public hearing items the first meeting of September. The second backup hearing, we're leaving just for that ZOA, so we are asking you to attend the backup hearing. That's more of a workshop session. The public is welcome to attend, but we're not really making a decision or even really taking public comment at that time. It's really just again, a workshop opportunity with this guiding body. We're doing the same thing with the board for each module. We have 3 total modules that we'll be going through. And then ultimately, we will submit an application that will be fully open to public testimony and all of that. But just wanted to give you guys the heads up that we'll be, again, kind of workshopping our new zoning ordinance with you later in September. So if you have questions about that along the way, or, you know, things to ask, we're working hard to get you a draft of that in advance. Right now, we're working with various committees to get their feedback on the initial draft. We're hoping to refine that, give you a summary of what those comments were, and then ultimately give you an opportunity to ask staff as many questions as you have. We'll likely have our consultant. It's possible they'll be in person in attendance, but if nothing else, they'll be virtual with us. They're based out of Kansas City and Dallas, Texas. So not sure what travel looks like in a month from now, but they would like to come to Boise and visit the Treasure Valley. So, and that's all I have for you.
Well, are there any other comments? I want to tell Commissioner Hilding and Commissioner Wickstrom that I appreciate you guys attending virtually. I love the option that if somebody doesn't feel well or has another reason, that they can attend virtually. So I love the virtual options. So thank you. Any other comments from the commissioners? Then I will stand adjourned. So.